Y'all, we back with another video. So of course it was nice for them to just drop all this information while I'm at work, so I can't cover it straight away. But it's all good. We'll just cover it anyways, right? And then we'll give a little bit of extra information on top of that to add to it, give some of the sauce, some of the stuff that some of the players are looking for, right? So anyways, let's actually get right into it. So if you already seen this earlier, right? Just probably skip 1 minute through, so that way we can get back on track. But I'm gonna play it anyways, right? For those who haven't seen it.
指輪婚約指輪リカとユータは大人になったら結婚するの。
骨ユータです。よろしくお願いします。
おい、お前呪われてるぞ。呪われたやつが来るところじゃねえよ。
おらー、あとは最短で行くぞ。
鮭、あちらー。おっこつ、お前マジで何しに来たんだ。呪術高専によ。
僕は
乙骨ユータは
誰かと関わりたい。誰かに必要とされて
にかかった呪いは使い方次第で人を助けることもできる。
自信が欲しいんだ。リカちゃん、
なに？
力を貸して。
Holy deep. Anyways, as you can see, they've already teased the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero collaboration. So we're going to be receiving this very soon, right? Because we're going to actually talk about the timeline, and we'll talk a little bit more about the characters, what we're going to be receiving, all the other new stuff that they did manage to add to the game, or what we're going to be getting when they do add it. All right, so let's actually get right to it. So first, we're just going to start off with the event bi-weekly update for the gacha and events. So first up, we have phase 1 of the gachas. You should probably be skipping this banner unless you're a collector, right? If you're like free to play and you're not really a collector, skip this banner because you want to save all your resources and currencies for part 2, which should be Yuta. So this is going to be happening on the 22nd after maintenance, and then it's going to be lasting until December 25th. So practically a whole month. Next up, we are going to be receiving the story event alongside the part 1 of the event. So I actually really like reading this story event. So you guys should probably give it a read too when you're playing it. It was actually one of a really good one. Then we finally got the most awaited thing out of the entire event, which is going to be Yuta. So we're going to have Yuta banner dropping on the 24th. And then he's going to be lasting practically a whole month, all the way until the 25th of December, which is crazy work. Because if you kind of line up that with that timeline, I wouldn't be surprised if they drop Hollow Purple Gojo right after all this whole collaboration on the 25th or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised, bro, because they would be like, oh yeah, Merry Christmas, here's Hollow Purple Gojo, fuck you. But yeah, anyways, Yuta, he's going to be lasting a whole month. So all the cubes that you save now and all the cubes that you're going to be gaining for the next month, you're going to be able to use towards this banner to make sure that you can at least try to obtain Yuta during the event. Then he also comes with a memory, which is going to be this one. This one's all right. I believe it is 30% curse power and physical power for 2 turns when using a skill or an ultimate skill, so it's not bad. It's pretty good for characters that use combined damage. You're not going to really be using it on Yuta that much because his ult is going to be doing curse power damage, and you're going to be wanting to use a Hollow Purple memory, which is the non-standard, or any other memory that just boosts his curse power. Then we're going to be having the map event of the second part. It's going to be from the 24th all the way until the December 25th. It's a pretty good map event. I actually really like this map event compared to all the other map events that's ever released in JP. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I definitely liked it. And I really wish we would get this Gojo already. Then, last but not least, out of all the banners, we are going to be receiving Geto. Now, Geto, I'm going to tell you straight up, if you're skipping part 1, you should also be skipping part 3. Geto is not a good character. He is not. His ult does like 369% damage to all enemies. And then the more cursed energy you have, the more damage he does. That basically gives him a condition to even do damage. It's ridiculous. You have to, like, why are you giving him a condition to even do damage? So let's say you did have all the conditions met where you have the most amount of cursed energy. You're still only going to get roughly about 1,000 something percentage. It's nothing. It's nothing. Gojo does that without any of those conditions. He'll just do it straight up whenever he needs to ult, and he has his ult. He's just going to ult and do that damage. Geto, you can't. It's like hard to use his other skills too because you're trying to make sure that his ult does as much damage as possible. How are you gonna debuff the enemy with his other skills to go into your ult when you don't even have cursed energy to maximize the damage from your ult? It's just ridiculous. They don't know what the hell they were doing when they released Geto. They're like, oh yeah, he sounds good, bro. But then once you drop him, it's like, bro, why is his modifier for his ult so low? You just you griefed him. He's trash. Now, the memory itself is actually not that bad. The memory is actually really good. You could even use it for literally Yuta, right? So the memory, what it does is it increases your own curse power damage by 60% for 2 turns when your ultimate skill is activated. So you're only going to be having it for your ult, and then for the preceding turn after it, it will be 65% when you get 3 dupes in it. But when you get that passive, what it does is at the start of battle, increases own ultimate skill charge rate by 20% for 3 turns. So this is going to help you get Yuta's ult. So he does take quite a little bit. So he's kind of like in between Megami and Gojo in terms of trying to get his ult. But with this memory, you'll be able to get that. And on top of that, it's not a bad memory if you don't have non-standard. If you have non-standard, you probably should still just use non-standard. Now then, we're already done talking about the characters themselves. Let's actually talk about the actual events that are going to be coming, right? So we're going to be having limited time missions. You know, I'm just going to breeze through this because there's not really much to talk about. There's literally just going to be missions that you're going to do that you're going to get rewards from. So that's really about it. You're going to be able to get memories as well. I believe it's this memory specifically. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it's this memory. And when I say memory, I mean recollection bits. It's just on JP, we call it memories. And I feel like that's what it should have been called in the first place. I don't know why they even thought recollection bits was a good idea. Now let's talk about the new stuff that they're going to be giving to global players, just because I guess they really feel bad for how they are treating the player base right now, considering how many events and banners they rushed in like such a short span of time. So they're going to try to compensate over this. So one of the biggest issues when you were playing the game was people were lacking resources and AP. So what they decided to do is on global, they added an exclusive benefit where we will be receiving rewards from login. On top of that, I'm pretty sure they're going to be adding limited edition missions. I'm pretty sure, right? Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely sure. People were talking about something like that, so I'm assuming we're also going to be getting that as well. But if we're just strictly speaking on the time benefits, this is overall really nice, just because now you have 10 refills between, you know, the 22nd and the 24th. The good thing is we do get the AP pack on the same day that we get Yuta. So that means we will be able to test them out because we should have stamina. Boom. So overall, pretty good. And then we're going to be getting Beacon of Recollection bits. So we're going to get 60k in total. I say that's a fair amount, especially, well, for like one memory. But it's okay because the only memory that matters is the one that you're putting on your DPS. So that way they can do as much damage as possible. So like if you have non-standard, obviously you're going to level it up with these materials. So that way you can get as much curse power stats. Now then, let's actually talk about how much cubes we get. So we're going to start off with cubes, and then we'll talk about gacha tickets. So we're going to divide this by parts, and then obviously extra stuff. So we are going to have part 1, where part 1, we're going to be able to get 900 cubes from logins, and then we are going to be getting from the event itself, from the story event, we're going to be getting 500 to 700 roughly, and then on clearing quests, it's going to be 500 to 700, so like the missions and stuff. Then we're on the 7th day of those logins from the part 1. We are going to be getting a guaranteed SSR ticket from the 7th day. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Obviously, it can change on global, but I don't think they're going to change it just because they've been copying and pasting practically everything from JP. Part 2, we're going to be receiving 900 cubes from missions, and then obviously 1,000 to 1,500 from clearing quests. That's going to be a pretty decent amount. That's going to be almost close to a multi. So you're going to get a fair amount of cubes so far. Then on part 3, we're going to be receiving 900 cubes from doing the missions. And then part 4 is going to be the same. Then over here, we have listed as extras. Extras are going to be, you know, external things. They aren't too relative to the actual event itself, but they were just like extra things that happened because of, you know, timing. So first up, we had 3,000 cubes from the 10 million downloads. So I'm pretty sure Global's going to get something like this, right? Boom. And then obviously 3,000 from Christmas. So I think the banner leaves on the 25th, if I remember correctly, right? So depending on when they decide to give the 3K, we could have it while the banner is still up. Maintenance kaiju. So there is going to be maintenance. Obviously, we're going to get some kaijus from that. Kaijus are cubes, just in case if you aren't familiar with the term. It's just in JP, the rough translation is kaiju. Then at the night parade of 100 demons login bonus, we get 300 cubes and then 5 general banner tickets. So that's the standard gacha tickets. Those are the ones that are only for the standard banner that has all the base characters. Then we're going to go to the gacha tickets, where part 1, we're going to be receiving nothing. So the part 1 banner is a complete skip. The only thing you're using there is literally cubes, and you don't want to use cubes because you don't want to pull those characters unless you're a collector. We're going to have part 2, where we're going to get 10 tickets. That's going to be only for part 2. So they're going to be labeled as such. Phase 2 tickets, Yuta banner, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's going to say phase 2. So they can only be used on Yuta's banner. And then you're going to get 5 from the events. As usual, this is like very common practice for a lot of the events they drop. They usually give 5 tickets for whatever banner's out. And then there's a possibility that they might make it 10 just because they're trying to please the player base and they're listening to our feedback. So there might be actually 10. So we might be getting 2 multis out of that in total. Then for part 3, we're going to be getting another multi. So remember, this is only going to be used for the Geto banner. You can't use it on the Yuta banner. So by the estimations and calculations, we should be getting roughly about 13k to 15k kaiju until the December 24th, where the banners all leave, etc. So overall, I think that's a pretty decent amount. That's like 5 multis, right? And like I said, I feel like Global's probably going to have a little bit more than just this amount, just because they're really trying to please the player base, and they've been rushing a lot of things. So we'll see. And they've also been adding global exclusive things. So we'll see. Then for tickets, it's going to be 15 for Yuta and then 10 for Geto. And then we're going to get roughly about 15 to 20 general gacha tickets, which are the standard tickets, just the silver plain ones. Roughly, we're going to be getting a bunch of multis, like 6 multis at least, just for Yuta, and then a multi for Geto. So if you've been saving cubes, there's a possibility that you might be able to get him with just all these cubes that they're going to be handing out and the free tickets. So I pray everybody has good luck on that banner when he does drop. All right, so you're going to get Yuta. You want to know what cursed objects you're going to need before he actually releases. So the cursed objects that you're going to need for bronze is going to be the bronze bell and then the bronze jewelry. You're going to be needing those 2. Then when you get into silver, it's going to be the very same. You're going to get the bells and then you're going to get the jewelry. Those are going to be the ones that you want. Then when you get into golds, it's going to be the same exact thing. Once again, bells and then the jewelry. Those are going to be all the materials that he's going to use. As for the amount, you can kind of just look at any character that's in your box to just kind of see how much you're going to need overall for a character. That's usually going to be the standard for most characters. They're going to all relatively use the same amount of resources. So for their cursed objects, so you could just kind of just guess like that and figure out how much you're actually going to need in total. So just go to like a character and then just click, grade up to 9 to 8, grade up to 8. Unlock all, and then you'll just kind of see how much you're going to need overall, between all the bronze and stuff like that. Obviously, I can't show you here because I have grade 8 on all my characters, but you get the picture, right? You can just kind of go to one of your characters that hasn't been graded or anything and just, click on the final button, and then you'll see the amount that you'll need in total. And then you could kind of just guess with how much of the resources you're going to need for Yuta. Now, as for orange orbs for leveling characters, to get a character from level 1 to 91, granted you've grade 8 your Yuta and then you max them out and all that stuff, you're going to need roughly about 1,940,000 orange orbs just to max the character, right? So if you are going to max him, what I'm saying is you need to have those materials I told you to get, and then you're also going to need to have at least 2 million orange orbs to max him from level 1 to 91. So I just wanted to put that out there so that way you guys can already plan ahead and kind of see if you're missing anything or if you have enough orange orbs, etc., while the 2 times event is here and all that. So just take advantage of that. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for watching. That's all the information based off of the news that came out and what I know with JP and the characters themselves and how many resources we should probably be getting overall in the event. But anyways, I thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. You guys have been helping me tremendously. I've grown so much in this past, couple weeks than I ever did in my entire YouTube account history. So I thank you so much for, supporting the channel and everything. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Then your engagement is very nice. We build our community here, and I do live streaming at 8 p.m. Eastern, usually every day. There might be a day where I might miss, depending if there's going to be like some kind of event or a new banner at a different time, because I don't want to stream early and then wait for the event to come, because that's going to be many hours. So I just usually stream at the time of something new dropping. So yeah, anyways, like I said, appreciate you guys for watching, and you guys help me tremendously. Love y'all. Yeah, that's basically it. I'll see you guys around. Peace.